Welcome back, everybody, to the daily racing show here at RacePlazaMedia. And today I will be talking to you guys how I made it out of the rookie leagues and how I finally unlocked League D. Let's get right into it. We're going to take a look at one of my races that helped contribute towards that. And while we're looking at it, I'll be talking to you guys about it, how I did it. So first things first, as you guys can see, I actually qualified in the back, and that was the plan. That is really the staple of that strategy. You have to start in the back and then just let everyone else do their business. Does that mean that you're going to lose or quote unquote come last in every single race? No, it does not. In fact, I will prove you guys right now why it doesn't mean that, because we are in the rookie league, so there's a lot of nonsense that happens. But let's jump right into it. Hit it. So, as you guys can see, I am usually a quite good starter, but I clearly didn't react at all. I was like, this upcoming first turn, I mean, really the first two laps around this track or any track, usually in the rookie leagues, is dangerous if you're driving in the pack, because people tend to, spin out, hit you, run into each other. So while I was actually away, this past weekend, I was in Sonoma for the GT World Challenge America, and there was a little sim setup, and there I was speaking to a guy, and he was like, listen, the best way to get out of the rookie leagues, because I told him I had just started, is to don't qualify for any race and just start from the back. And it is a little bit difficult, I'm not gonna lie, because once you're racing, you want to race. But as you guys can see, I already passed the first dude in this race because he spun out. I can see the guys right here in front of me, and that is usually can create a lot of issues when people try to go too wide in anything, especially in the rookie leagues. There's another guy right here on the right side wilding out. You also have to be really careful sometimes in the rookie leagues with people coming back onto the track, because if you don't pay attention, you can get punted off, and this has happened to me as well. Let me turn this down just a little bit. And yeah, but in general, that is really the make or break what you need to do to really get your safety rating up. If you're struggling with safety rating, this is the best thing to do. And something will happen later in the race, and you're going to be like, I can't believe you did that. But it made me finally graduate into the D League, and it made me unlock Formula 4, which is something I have been really, really excited about driving. So it was definitely worth it. There you guys can see someone is already in the pits. So I am definitely making some passes. And then you guys can see there's 4 people right here racing all for the same spot. And it's gonna get messy. Let's be real. But this is not the only race where I started from the back. This was Monday afternoon. This was before we switched over to the Lime Rock Classic track, and I will say Lime Rock is really the optimal track to actually do this with if you really wanted to just push up your safety rating, because if you've raced in Lime Rock, at least in our rookie leagues, it can feel a lot of times that everyone is just hot lapping. So if you let people go ahead for like 5 seconds, and then you just pass the people who spin out and don't really try to race. So I've had situations where people were like, obviously they wanted to race for position, and sometimes I would just pull to the side and get off the gas to let them pass, because the one time I did it in a race while I was trying to boost my safety rating, I got spun out. I got hit from the back because the guy didn't know how to follow or make a clean pass. So if that's really what you're looking for to improve your safety rating, then that's just what you have to do. You have to not be hyper competitive for about 2.5 seconds, and then you can make it out of there. I mean, I say 2.5 seconds. I think I did a total of 5 races like that. Of course, this didn't help with me trying to avoid picking up incident points, because that's really all it is in the end. How many incidences do you have? How many incident points do you pick up? And based off of that, your safety rating will either go up or down. So you see, guys, I'm pulling right here over to the side, and I'm actually getting off the gas so this dude can just pass me, because I've had it too many times where I would just get punted off, and I was not willing to compromise it, especially in iRacing, you have one race every hour usually, and that's a long wait. So it is just like you're just gonna have to suck it up. I did this for 5 races straight. I would, as I said, I would just don't qualify, start from the back, let everyone pass you, and then start racing. And you see, these guys are already doing a whole bunch of nonsense, and I'm still passing people. And in no race that I did this way, I finished last. There's been races where, yeah, I ended up finishing 9th. But this race specifically, I actually make it quite, spoiler alert, quite far to the front, which is nice. But once again, Lime Rock Classic is really the perfect track to do this because it is such an easy track. And you can, wow, I really missed that apex there. It's a very easy track, and you can just hot lap by yourself once you have enough distance between you and some people. I've had, of course, incidents where I was much faster than other people, because I think probably, especially in the rookie leagues, the pace will... Wow, there we go. Another guy I'm passing really without having to do a lot. And honestly, in tracks like this, you get that a lot. Once again, but you just want to avoid racing people hard. Anyways, in Lime Rock, yeah, you can just, if you then get too close to someone, you're gonna have to make the pass. You just want to be careful about it. Try to do it obviously on the on the home stretch. That way you can try to slingshot around them, especially if you pace yourself well enough through like the last, I would say, 3 or 4 turns, because all of those are flat out anyways. I think after turn 2 in Lime Rock Classic layout, you're just flat out for the rest of the course anyways. So that's why it can feel really like hot lapping. But yeah, this is really a great way to boost your safety rating. My last race that I did on Lime Rock, I actually ended up having 0 incidence points, which even with this technique, you have to be careful, because you can, of course, pick up incidence points. You can get incident points for, of course, crashing into other people, but you can also get incidence points for spinning or getting off track too much. There is usually a little bit of a grace margin that you get, but if you spun out, you pick up points, and then, of course, if you get hit, even if it's not your fault, you get points. So I ended up in a different race, I ended up picking 2 incidence points up because I got hit from the back, because the guy didn't know how to properly pass, and I didn't want to give up the position without a fight. And then there we go, I'm gonna pass another dude without really having to do a lot. And in rookie leagues, that is just, easy peasy. Especially on a track like this where you have a lot of turns. And I will say the Okayama International Circuit is probably one of my favorite tracks that I've driven so far or raced on so far in iRacing. It just has the right amount of different types of corners, and if you really practice, you can see really quickly an improvement in your lap times. Yeah, this one I really hit the apex way off. It's terrible. So you see, you just want to be careful when you do stuff like this. Honestly, sometimes it's just better to let the other person pass you. So, so sorry, guys. Because you obviously, even if you know your stuff and you're not going to spin out and stuff like that, you have to trust that the other person is not going to hit you. And once again, if you're playing, like I'm racing with people with 1300 iRacing rating, the chances are that they don't know how to do that, and when I got hit in that one other race, I was very upset. Look how close he gets to me, and I'm like, I don't know if this is some type of intimidating tactic and whatever, but I don't trust your racecraft because I don't know you. So as you guys can see, I just let him pass me. I wasn't fighting for position because it wasn't worth it to me. I didn't want to, get caught up in the sauce, as they say. And it's a little, yes, it is. It can be like, mate, you want to race and you want to do, you want to fight for every single position, and you guys will see why I might have could have regretted this at the end of this race. But in the end, the safety rating was my goal, and everything else was secondary. So, here, especially with the Okayama track, even though you do have some places where you can pick up slipstream and then potentially pass a person, because it usually does lead into a tight turn or something like that. Once again, you just have to be careful. And the races can be a little bit, of course, boring, especially if you leave such a big gap that you're just hot lapping by yourself for 12 minutes straight. But we got to do the work to get out of there, especially if you want to get to a place where racing can be a little bit more enjoyable, or you don't have to worry about being punted off. I actually had a really cool interaction with a guy in practice. So even though, of course, I'm not racing against anyone, I'm practicing before I start a race. And that was on the Lime Rock track. And I was able to kind of just draft behind him. And he let me, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but I was able to just catch his slipstream. And I ended up putting down an insane lap time, because if you have someone ahead of you, you can make it through the last turn almost at like 160 kilometers an hour, which is almost top speed with these Formula Vee cars. So it can be a lot of fun if you have a racing buddy too, But really, this is what I did. I held down the fort or I just kept it safe, kept it on the tracks. Here you guys can see I am, There's this part in me, because this was also the first race where I really was like, listen, I'm just going to focus on safety rating. And then I get these passing opportunities almost. But I was like, it's not worth it, I was also thinking he got so close to me on that straight, on that really long straight. After, what is it, turn 1, 2, 3, I think like turn 4 or 5 it is. And it's just... I was just not willing to do it, but you guys will see in a second why I might have regretted that decision. I think we can actually speed this up. Let's see. Let's speed this up a little bit, because you guys can see. So I am currently in 4th place. Yeah, he caught me off guard because he was braking a lot earlier than I expected him to, I believe. And I don't know if if he was trying to brake check me or whatever. But so he's in 3rd place. So I will say my thought crossed the thought did cross my mind. Should I just try to go for it, because the podium is right there? But you guys can see also our racing lines are way different when approaching this corner. I prefer my way, but I do see a lot of people in the rookie leagues to try to go out and then cut in, and I cut in and then go wide, and then pull it back in. I don't know. I saw a video like this, and when I did it with my coach, he never said anything, and I believe he also takes a turn like this. And then you guys can see right here, this is spot 1 and 2, and I'm in P2 now, and I started in essentially last place, and we're on the last lap of the track. We got the white flag the previous, and if I would have just maybe fought him a little bit harder, P1 would have been in the cards for me. But that wasn't the intention when going into this race. The intention was to gain safety rating, and after this race I ended up gaining 0.1 in order to get out of the rookie leagues and to unlock League D or the D leagues. You have to be at least you have to have a safety rating of 3.0, and then it will reset for you. And then actually in my last race that I did in Lime Rock, I had 0 incidence points. I had a really, really clean race. Ooh, it ended. And oh, wow, this is actually pretty nice. It ended, and I ended up getting, what is it? I ended up gaining 0.5, so half a point of safety rating which you, once again, you need to hit 3.0 to unlock, Formula 4 and all of those things. So once again, keeping your race clean, even if it's not your fault that you keep getting hit, that's the way to get out of it. That's really the only thing you need to know. You need to race clean on your end, so don't spin out. Make sure that once you start pushing your lap times, because I do like to do that, even if I'm technically not racing against anyone, I'm just racing my own race, I do like to put in good lap times. Wait until your tires are warmed up and then start pushing. And then if someone is trying to race you, especially if you already see that they're spinning out, or you just passed them because they're spinning out and then they're caught right back up to you, or that's how they entered the track, let them pass. Because if they already spun out once, chances are they will spin out again and they will take you down. And then it didn't matter that it wasn't your fault. Safety rating doesn't care if it's your fault or if it's not your fault. Your safety rating will go down if you have too many incidents. I saw, actually, I think if you have more than 17 during a race, you get disqualified, which is very bad. Has never happened to me, but I have peaked out at 11, which is partially which was once again all my fault because I got hit. If you guys watch any of my other previous races, you guys can see that I'm complaining and I think it's not my fault. And yeah, getting hit by other people might not be your fault, but I wasn't trying to stay safe. And that's what you need to do, guys. You guys need to stay safe, keep it on the track, don't make mistakes on your end, and make sure that you practice the track beforehand. Don't go in blind, obviously. Make sure that you feel confident, and then usually in Formula V, the first 2 laps, just don't push too hard because you don't want to spin out. That's going to push up your incidence points, and that's really all you have to do, guys. It's very, very easy. You just have to be willing to put in the work. So when I started this, my safety rating was about 2.60, I think. And then I did 5 races, and because I kept it as clean as possible, the most amount of incidence points I had in those 5 races were 2. And then I had a bunch of 1 incidence points races, and then I had the last one, which was 0, and that gave me a huge bump. So don't race hard other people, especially if you're trying to build up the safety rating. And then also, you guys might not like to hear that, and I don't like to hear that either, but you're probably, if you always have incidence points, a huge amount of incidence points during a race, then most likely you're the problem and not the other people. Because I have a lot of races where I have a lot of incidence points, and it's because I'm too greedy when it comes to overtakes. I'm not willing to bide my time and making the attack at the right time. I'm maybe try to make an overtake stick where there was no opportunity. And that's all my fault as well, Even then, it's like, well, I was there too, but, that's just how it is in rookie leagues. Don't expect other people to have this amazing or perfect race when you're not able to do it yourself. It sounds very strict. I'm really yelling at you guys, but really I'm just retroactively yelling at me because I could have done this much, much earlier if I would have just sat down and put in the time. But if I can do it, you guys can do it. I believe in you guys. And next week, we will have a Formula 4 race. I already set up a session with my trainer. His name is Gianni Lutzu. I'll put his information in the description box below. He has helped me significantly with my racecraft and getting more confident. However, just booking a trainer won't fix all of your problems. You have to also put in the time in the sim. You have to practice, practice, practice. I said this in previous videos. Sometimes I sit there and practice one single corner for 50 minutes. And that's just how it is until I get it right. And you have to be willing to put in the work. And sorry for preaching. I am mostly really now thinking about all of this. I'm a little disappointed myself that I could have done this much, much earlier. But it's fine. We got it done. And next week, Formula 4. And tomorrow we'll be back with everything that you can watch this upcoming weekend racing related here on the channel. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know down in the description box below, how did you guys make it out of the rookie leagues? Do you guys have any questions, concerns? Or if you guys need actual help from someone who's a true pro, hire my coach, Gianni. He's a really great guy and he helped me a lot. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow here at the Daily Racing Show. Mwah, mucho kiss.